Go Jackets! Good evening, everyone. My name is Randeep HORA, and I am here to introduce, and it is actually my honor to introduce, Miss Claire Lewis Arnold, known by many as Young. Mrs. Arnold is the co-founder and CEO of Leapfrog, a technology company she started in 1998. Leapfrog is known for helping organizations use technology in safe and secure ways so that they can focus on making a difference in their communities. Before starting Leapfrog, she bought a small local business and grew it into one of Georgia's 5 largest privately held companies. She later spent 10 years working at Coca-Cola USA, where she worked in marketing, sales, and long-range planning, including helping introduce Coca-Cola's first plastic bottles. Mrs. Arnold is also deeply committed to serving others. She has served on the board of many respected organizations, including Spelman College, the Woodruff Arts Center, Achieve Atlanta, the Carter Center, and the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. She has received numerous awards for her leadership, service, and impact on the Atlanta community. She earned a degree in mathematics from Mary Baldwin College, where she also received an honorary doctorate, and she has continued her education through Harvard's business school programs. While she is not working, Mrs. Arnold enjoys spending time with her family in the mountains of North Carolina. When I met her, I learned that we are both math people. She majored in math in college, and while I sort of known as the math guy at Roswell High, I was struck by how warm and open she is. She wanted to know all about my high school experience and was especially interested in me building my 3D business last year. I'm so happy that our paths crossed and that I was able to meet her. Please turn your attention to the screen for a video about Mrs. Claire Arnold.
So, thank you, Randeep. I have to admit that I'm too much of an entrepreneur, which often means last minute, to have gotten my remarks on the teleprompter. But I want to thank all of the supporters here of JA tonight, and so many of you that I know personally. It's just special to walk around and see people I've known for so long. And I want to give a special thank you to Laura and to Lily and Camille and John and all the folks at JA that worked so hard to make tonight happen. They produced these films in-house, and I think they're great. I don't know where you got some of those photographs. It looked like you may have raided the Federal Reserve photo gallery. But this is really special, and I want to congratulate my longtime friend, Beverly. I was ecstatic to learn that you would be here tonight and that I'd be able to share this with you. I'd like to recognize my Leapfrog family, which is at this table right here. We were able to bring 10 of them tonight. And then I want to recognize my personal family, Ross, my husband of almost 53 years. My daughters, Leslie and Fielding, who came from Boston and Durham. One granddaughter, Ani, is unfortunately sick at home, and at our home, and couldn't come. But Mika, my other granddaughter, is here. And then Will, my son, Victoria, my daughter-in-law, and Abby and Rob Weeks, who are my godchildren. Thank you all for being here. So it really wasn't until the last few years that I began to fully realize the impact of family on me. My family of origin, particularly, you heard the kind of things that my father set up for me. And though he was killed in a plane crash when I was 15, he had impacts on me that have lasted that I didn't really even begin to recognize until I did things like the interview for JA, because you don't stop to reflect. I had a neighbor who hired me into my first real job at Burlington Industries when I was just after my sophomore year in college. I had my Coca-Cola family, which was actually my first job out of college, where the then president of Coke USA, who later became the CEO of the Coca-Cola company, Luke Smith, gave me some advice when I said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Smith." And he told me not to call him sir, and several other things, because he said, "You're my equal." And this was in 1969, which was pretty amazing. And that stuck with me for a long time. Then I went into the distribution industry, and it was all male. They opened me with wide arms, and actually chose me as the leader of their industry within 5 years. Then, of course, there's Leapfrog and all sorts of corporate and volunteer boards. And lastly but not least, my family, who's always given me unconditional support. But really, the people who are important here tonight are the students. And I've learned through conversations with Randeep that JA and 3DE have been a meaningful family to each of you. And through the focus of business principles and the mentorships you have, you've been given tools that will guide and help define the families you join moving forward. Most people enter the adult world with little understanding of any of these principles, and you have had the bounty of living them with the support of Atlanta's business community and family. They can be used in any career you choose: big corporations like many of tonight's sponsors, smaller companies represented by many other people here, entrepreneurs like me and like each of you in 3DE who had to start a business during your junior year. And educational, you could use them in educational institutions like Spelman, in managing a household, in large nonprofits like JA, or a small company, or nonprofit like the one where I brought my top. Several people have asked me about it. It was made by the women of the Dinka tribe in South Sudan and marketed through something called the Ibu movement, which partners with women in third world countries who make beautiful art and sells their creations and then repeats the process. There are many ways that you can use the skills you've learned in many ways you go. And along any path you choose, you'll create communities and families that will continue to influence you and leverage your impact. So, wherever your life's journey takes you, the tools you've acquired through your JA and 3DE family will pave the way for your success in life, at work, and on boards, where I hope you'll love what you do with people you respect, working on missions that are meaningful to you. And whether it be big business or small, for-profit or not, you now have the JA capacity to influence your personal and professional families for the rest of your lives. I am certain that you'll make us all proud for what you personally create, as well as for the ongoing mission of junior achievement. Thank you.